Yeah, I made it 2 words in. Lovely.
Welcome back, Uninformed movie lovers, to Uninformed Movie Reviews, the podcast, episode 64. Today, we're talking about Starship Troopers in honor of its 25th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
First off, we got to say we have to give out a huge shout out recently from the channel Goose Boost. Thank you so much. I'm going to put the link in the description to his channel. It's got some cool spooky videos. And welcome new audience members. Those of you who are new to Uninformed Movie Reviews, I am Danny. This is Frank.
Yo.
We usually have a third, David, but he's knee deep in baby.
Apt. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
So we're carrying on without him right now and doing one of the best movies ever made, 1997's Starship Troopers.
Ooh, cult classic from another galaxy.
That's right. I mean, if you've clicked on this podcast and you've never seen Starship Troopers, yes, we are going to go into spoilers. It is a 25-year-old movie. You should stop listening immediately and go into this movie. What can you spoil?
I mean, totally worth a watch. Just go check it out really quick.
Yeah, check it out.
Rent it on Amazon Prime. It'll be $4.32 in the hole, and you'll totally appreciate it.
And usually how we do a deep dive on a movie like this in honor of its anniversary is we talk about it. We're going to give you a little synopsis, and then we're going to gush about it a little bit, and then give you some fun facts.
Oh, yeah. I hope you came to watch us gush, because gush we will.
Uninformed rope reviews, right? Well, I mean, let's get into it. Frank, do you got a little synopsis for us?
Starship Troopers is about a fascist society. The whole world is one government called the Citizen Federation, and they have expanded out into the universe. And wouldn't you know, we happened upon another civilization and pissed them off. And it's the arachnids. They're bugs, y'all. Big old bugs. Some little bugs, some medium-sized bugs, some big bugs, all kinds of bugs. You know how bugs is.
You know, I had a question about this before, I guess, just to talk about it, but I guess it's not super clear in the beginning of the movie if the bugs began the conflict or if it was just humans encroaching on them.
There's a brief line of dialogue. I wish I would have written the quote down, but yeah, we in our expansion out into the universe, we tried to colonize, and then we went a little bit too far. You know what I mean?
Sometimes things happen like that.
Yeah. You know how civilizations get super pissed if you're this is ours now.
Yeah. Manifest destiny doesn't seem to work all the time.
They just kept manifesting that destiny. They just kept going and going and going.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly what I got when I was watching it. Not even looking at us. I was just saying this is a future American, this is a very American society without democracy, where apparently the veterans have taken over and made a new regime, I think, which is the Federation of all countries, I'm guessing. So fascism worked?
Yes. This is part of the director's vision of it. He wanted to show a fascist society. He's at the time, people were really upset about democracy not working in the United States because it was the 90s, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And he's
weird.
You want to see you want to see a government that works? Check this out. In your face.
Yeah. This is a highly, there is 3 classes of citizens, if I'm understanding this right. There's civilians who are the lowest of the low. And then there's the citizen, but you have to be granted that right after 2 years of mandated, not even mandated.
2 years or more if they need you longer.
Yeah, which they will, of service.
Yeah.
You can be pardoned, or you can just leave the service, apparently, which is, I guess, different from any kind of militaristic society. But you won't get citizenship. But again, apparently, citizens are the only ones that have the right to vote. They're the only ones that can run for office.
It's much easier to get, what do they call it? A permit to have children.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. I heard that line, which I agree with. I think it's cool. But looking at, that overpopulation is a thing. But, the bugs kind of even it out. And if anything, we really, need more people.
more fodder for the cannon.
Seriously.
Yeah, legit. So Starship Troopers basically follows a group of high school teens at the end of their high school career going into the service right as the bug conflict is really kicking off.
Yeah. Yeah, it follows them as they finish their high school term and decide what to do. And Rico decides to, follow his wiener. And
As you do.
which I think is his heart too, but he's kind of a dick to his good friend Diz, who obviously loves him.
Yeah.
Very obviously loves him.
Like a deep love and a fiery hunger for the peen.
Oh, she is just so hungry for it. But also, I love how much disdain she has for Denise Richards also at the same time.
Yeah.
Also,
The
Carmen
scowls that she gets.
Carmen's just a bad person. I was like watching the entire time. I get it. They're in high school. They don't really know what they want. But come on, dude. You're kind of, at least we
knew a guy, we went to high school with a dude who had a full ride scholarship offer to Michigan State to play football.
Oh, yeah.
And he stayed and went to El Paso Community College to be with his girlfriend. They broke up the next year. So it happens.
It definitely does happen, yeah. So other than that, we got Carl, played by Neil Patrick Harris. They kind of form a triumvirate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. We're going to go with that. They form a trio.
That sounded like a big word.
Yeah, it's right. Fun fact. Anyways, 3 best friends that anyone can have. They all take IQ tests. I guess throughout school, they just, I guess it's a military academy then, hey?
Well, it is like a militaristic fascist regime. Like it is all like,
is it
this
all?
Society is, it's one government.
No, I get that, but like, is the school system like, just in general terms, gearing them up for military? Like do they do the IQ test in the general school systems, or is this specifically?
No, it's like a different aptitude test that they took. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we find out that Rico is a blockhead.
Yes. You could tell from his jawline.
I think more of the brains went into here. Mm-hmm. The crimson chin, if you will.
Yes.
Carmen is rather smart, but not smart enough. And NPH apparently is the top of the food chain for smarts. He gets to go into games and theory, which is military intelligence.
Yeah, those are the super cool guys that get to wear SS officer uniforms.
Okay, I'm glad we talked about this, because I was just like, are we all just gonna like, now I understand from the director's vision, but I was like, are we gonna just forget that? And I didn't notice it when I was a kid, I guess, but like even like the drill sergeants are clearly, that's the Nazi uniform, and especially the intelligence, like games and theory, like I was like, these are SS uniforms. They're all in black too.
It's so funny. We'll get it. Like every interview I saw with the director, he was like, nobody got it. He's like, everybody
they
missed
all
it.
loved it. They were like, America.
Like, he would talk about like sometimes one of the movie execs would be like, hey, aren't those Nazi flags? And he'd be like, no, they're totally different colors.
Yeah.
Just let him go.
The eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything. I was just like, wow, this is pretty on the nose. I'm surprised no one's really talking about it.
He went for it full force, and he was so surprised that like people didn't pick up on it right away.
So before we get into it further, please take a second to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, help us out on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify with a follow, with a 5-star rating, if you will. I'll take any star rating. Apparently now it's cool. It's fine. But it does
just
help
let us know what you think. But remember, you could probably improve too. So look inward before you judge people so harshly.
I have metrics. I can find you. That being said, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Uninformed Movie Reviews. David just wrapped up 31 days of spooky movies, and he did some really good ones, I gotta say. Again, be sure to check out our friend Goose Boost. Thank you so much for helping us out with the shout out. Welcome all our new audience members. Let's get into it. So, Frank, do you have any? I'm guessing you have some background on this. Is this from like a graphic novel before, or?
It's from an actual novel without graphics. From
old school.
Yeah, old school novel without the pictures from 1959 by a gentleman named Edward Newmere.
1959.
Robert A. Heinlein.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an old book. It's got like a little cult following. It's still pretty popular. A lot of people slam it because he hits the like fascist thing super hard because he is a fascist. But
the author is?
Yeah,
okay,
the author,
okay.
yeah.
So he said this is like a dream society.
No, yeah, he was like not tongue-in-cheek about it.
Well, what's his last name again?
Heinlein.
That makes sense.
Robert A. Heinlein. Heinlein.
Yeah.
So Starship Troopers released in 1997 has a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb, little low, 67% on Rotten Tomatoes with its 129-minute runtime.
Criminally low.
And you know what? This movie doesn't feel like 2 hours.
No, it doesn't. It's got
really
such
breezes
good
by.
pacing.
Made on a budget of $105 million, somewhere between 105 and 110 million. Had an opening weekend flop of 22,058,773,300. A worldwide gross of $121,214,377.
Wow.
It was a commercial flop, got terrible reviews, but it found its cult following shortly after that.
Sometimes it be like that, you know?
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to say, for one, in my personal experience, I never saw this movie in theaters. It is also a rated R movie, so it probably couldn't have.
I definitely rented it at Hollywood Video.
I remember seeing this movie on TV
Nice.
all the time. This movie used to be on TV all the time, but then, you know, some of it's censored and all that. So I did rent the video, and I remember
You were like, I know there's boobs.
someone told me there's boobs, and I'm not seeing boobs on TNT right now. I just got to say, like, I remember as a kid, this movie used to scare the ever-living shit out of me. And I loved it because it was a thrill ride. This movie is so gory. I love the amount of gore in this movie is amazing. The ultra violence, it's scary. I mean, these aliens, like the arachnids, are terrifying. And I already have a fear of bugs. So I'm glad that none of them really looked like spiders, because that would have made it just even worse. But
that was your saving grace. There was no spiders.
I mean, let's look at the design of these things. They still hold up.
Yeah.
Such an iconic, like, alien look. You know what I mean? Like, the arachnid is just, and you know what? Maybe that's like what helped it like prolong or like preserve for so long, because it's almost like a polygonal shape.
Yeah.
So the fact that like it's all early CGI, dude. The fact that they're able to pull off the early CGI, I did watch the high def one I rented it on Apple TV, and
Same.
I mean,
still looks surprisingly well.
It looks amazing.
But they also do a ton of puppets and stuff for like close shots and little miniatures and stuff. They do a really good job.
They really do. I mean, what I was going to say like is something that's super surprising is all the CGI in harsh daylight looks amazing.
Yeah.
It really does. Like all the desert scapes that they've got for the planets that they go to and all that. It's incredible. Like, it just goes to show that like early CGI could be done right if you really took everything into consideration for it. You know what I mean?
And I think the biggest thing for me for this movie, I never got a huge fear from it. I was always just super stoked. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go kill some bugs right now. But every time I've watched this movie since my initial watch, I haven't liked it any less than that first watch. If anything, my love for this movie continues to grow.
That's exactly where I am too. I am honestly like 30% more wrecked for this movie, having watched
apostrophe wrecked.
Yeah, apostrophe wrecked for having watched this movie, and I already loved it before I pressed play this last time.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it's just it holds up. It's but now I've noticed like the overt like messages that are just being put on the screen and stuff, and it's just like fantastic. You know what I mean? Because like dumb American society, it just went like whoop, like over their head when they were just watching it. They're like, wow, this just is really gory and all that. But even the soldier design, pretty iconic. I mean, everything in this movie is like pretty iconic.
Oh yeah. Now
that you look at it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, so you already got the numbers.
Yeah, directed by Paul Verhoeven of RoboCop, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, Showgirls, and channel favorite Hollow Man. Got to see that Kevin Bacon
I'm not even lying.
sausage.
I do like Hollow Man.
Hollow Man's great. It's a fun time. Screenplay written by Edward Newmer, who had worked together on RoboCop before. And that gets us to
Peter Weller RoboCop.
Yes, that one. Yeah, not the one that we saw in
not
theaters.
The one that everyone wants to forget.
Jesus Christ. There's few times I've left a theater upset, and that was definitely one of them. I was like pissed. Like, why did we come do this?
One of the times was Pray for the Devil.
Oh, good Jesus, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad. Okay, no. So yeah. Up top, before we get too far into this, if you are considering going to spend your hard-earned money to see Pray for the Devil in theaters, stop.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's such a dumb movie. Just catch it on streaming in a couple of months. It'll be there.
This would be much better on streaming, and you would feel way less embarrassed having had the ticket in your like inbox.
Oh yeah. I laughed from maybe like 20, 30 minutes out till the end of the movie until maybe an hour after I got home. I was just laughing.
Yeah, don't watch it. It was really bad.
What a dumb movie.
Very dumb. Apt.
Back to a great movie. So the birth of Starship Troopers. Since the release of RoboCop in 1987, its producer John Davison had wanted to develop another project that would reunite members of the same creative team, but struggled to progress any relevant projects. The writer Newmar began developing a story treatment called Bug Hunt at Outpost 7.
That's a dumb name.
It's a horrible name. It's
and this is the screenwriter.
Yeah, this is the screenwriter. It's a really, really bad name. So this is just a totally separate project he was working on. He had said, I wanted to do a big, silly, xenophobic, let's go out and kill the enemy movie. And I had settled on the idea that it should be against insects. I wanted to make a war movie, but I also wanted to make a teenage romance movie. Insects were chosen as the enemies based on Newmar's wife's strong fear for the creatures.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right?
Hell yeah.
It's like, you know what scares my wife? I'm going to make a movie about them.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
It's fantastic. In December 1991, Newmar brought this idea to Davison at Warner Bros. Studios, which was also headquarters for TriStar Pictures, with whom Davison had a pre-existing development deal.
Oh.
After discussing Newmar's idea, Davison realized it bore many similarities to the 1959 science fiction novel Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein. The two had both read the novel as children and considered directly adapting Starship Troopers instead of Newmar's story. However, Davison believed that the film adaptation rights had to have already been purchased at that point. These guys are like, oh yeah, a lot of people read this book. Somebody owns the movie rights. Let's not think about it any further than that.
Oh man.
So they continued to just work on
movie.
the now retitled Outpost 7. Outpost. So they're working on the script forever and ever. By late 1992, Davison was working out of Sony Pictures Studios when Newmar brought him the finished script for Outpost 7. Alternatively referred to as Bug Hunt. He's like, okay,
he's getting there.
We'll see. He's really workshopping this at this point. Davison liked the treatment, but it failed to impress TriStar executive Chris Lee, who rejected it. Undeterred, the duo decided to research the film rights to Starship Troopers, and much to their surprise, the movie rights had not been purchased, so they went and snagged that real quick.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how much they bought it for, but they grabbed it.
I would imagine a not so pretty penny.
Mm-hmm. They figured having like an IP attached would help them gain more support from like, movie executives, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even today, that's how it works.
That's a solid equation for maybe not success, but funding.
You're at least gonna get some people to come try and see it, maybe.
Yeah, true.
Probably.
Let's see. So with that now purchased, they were able to gain the support of Mike Medavoy, who was a movie exec who had supported them on RoboCop. So he was like, hey, I like what these guys do. Let's go ahead and bang out another one.
RoboCop's a fucking banger, man.
With a new support in place, the rights to Starship Troopers were purchased, and Newmar began adapting his Outpost 7 script to more closely fit Heinlein's novel.
Bug Hunt Troopers.
Mm-hmm. Progress of the Starship Troopers adaptation remained slow for the next few years. And just to cite our sources, I'm paraphrasing most of this from Wikipedia, and a lot of it's just copy and pasted because
why not?
What are you going to do?
I mean, you can pass a paper like that.
The channel's called Uninformed Movie Reviews, all right?
This is the most informed I feel like we've ever been.
Yeah, we do research sometimes. So yeah, over the next few years, as they're working on this adaptation, things are super volatile at TriStar Pictures. Executives are getting fired and hired left and right.
Nice.
It's constant musical chairs going on.
Classic Hollywood.
So the whole time they're working on this, they're like, we may not get this movie made, because every time they do a script, they work out a budget. And the big thing with TriStar at this time, they're like really not trying to spend too much money on like making a movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, right. Even so, Davison spent much of 1993 securing several key crew, including Tippett and their other robot collaborator, Paul Verhoeven. Tippett is the guy who does all the...
Phil Tippett.
Yeah, Phil Tippett. He does all the visual effects for RoboCop and all that.
Yeah, he's pretty big in the practical effects world.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
According to Newmar and Davison, they had only ever considered Verhoeven as the director because they determined that with the fantastical creatures, the genre they were hitting, the political subtext, that Verhoeven was definitely the only man for the job. Verhoeven said, "I like science fiction movies. I mean, the Star Wars series is delightful. You know, I thought about doing like a German accent, but I didn't want to be too
a little offensive.
Yeah. Because I was definitely not going to be a little offensive. I would have been like very offensive.
I mean, that's the only way you're going to go.
That's the only way I know how to do it, baby. But the main reason I decided to do Starship Troopers was Phil Tippett. I had worked with Phil on RoboCop and felt that was really interesting. Verhoeven considers himself the director of the live characters and describes Tippett as effectively his co-director, leading filming of the creatures. So he's just very stoked on that team. They were just very excited to work together again.
Well, I mean, yeah, they produced bangers. I can see why.
By 1994, the Cowboys would secure yet another Super Bowl victory. And
wait a second.
That wasn't in my notes. I just added it in there. When I see dates that the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, I just have to say something.
Fantastic, yeah.
The studio had still not agreed to move Starship Troopers out of the development phase and into pre-production. Key crew members, including Davis and Verhoeven, decided, you know what? Let's make a test reel. Like, let's show these people what we're actually doing. So they set out to make a 40-second to 2-minute scene that they would later be called the bug test. If you YouTube the making of Starship Troopers, it actually starts with the bug test.
That's cool. I'd love to see
it. It looks
that.
all right. And Paul Verhoeven plays a dead body in it. So that's cool.
Fantastic.
Got a nice little cameo as a dead body. This was filmed at Vasquez Rocks near Los Angeles at a cost of $225,000. And
that's lean.
90s dollars though. So
that's still pretty lean.
Yeah, it's still pretty lean.
Yeah.
Filmed by John Hora with a 30-person crew. The sequence depicts a soldier played by Mitch Gaylord being pursued and killed by 2 warrior bugs. Numir makes a cameo appearance as a dead soldier. That soldier gets ripped to shreds. It's very exciting.
I love it.
It's a short little clip. It's still very, very exciting.
Love it.
Some executives at TriStar were impressed with the visual effects and actually did not realize they had been produced with CGI because it was the 90s.
Fantastic.
Yeah, especially for the 90s. Like these guys were like, Where'd you get these giant bugs from?
Are they in the back lot?
Yeah, they're in the back lot because they seem kind of scary. But others remained non-committal on providing any substantial funding, as according to Newmere, they did not understand the project. Development continued at a slow pace into the early 1995 when Davison put together a detailed budget totaling $90 million. Based on the third and final draft, right? Hey guys, so I'm gonna need just 90 million.
And he tried so hard to not like put his pinky up while he said it too.
$90 million. I don't think Austin Powers had come out yet, actually. Davison said TriStar was reluctant to provide this amount, often bringing up the financial failure of the $200 million budgeted Waterworld in 1995, which in the industry is a prime example of spending way too much money on a movie that would go on to flop.
Which is weird that the movie just lives on as an attraction. And no one likes the movie.
It's so funny. The movie does so poorly, but they built the whole thing at Universal Studios.
People go just for that attraction.
I mean, I've seen it.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I just went last year. It was great.
It's still Waterworld? They still do Waterworld?
Yeah, dude, it was great.
That's hilarious.
I guess they change it up every now and then, but I mean, they're pretty talented.
Huh. TriStar executives determined that the only way for Starship Troopers to continue development was to identify a business partner with whom they could split the production costs. They were like, hey, we'll go halves on it, but we're not throwing down the full $100 million. I mean, there's no way.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough sell.
That's a lot of money. You would almost need like Disney money. Davis had begun screening the bug test for anyone he could, eventually attracting the interest of Walt Disney Studios. A meeting was held with several TriStar executives, Sony, Disney's head of motion pictures. I was not expecting the Mickey. It really
That's a nice
got me.
looking bug.
Oh my God, are they real?
Sorry, yeah, that was too good to pass up.
Yeah, so everybody meets together and they agree that Starship Troopers will be made via TriStar and Disney's Touchstones Pictures.
Oh,
They would
yeah.
split the
Okay.
budget costs evenly and box office evenly in exchange for
Ooh.
Touchstone receiving all the distribution rights outside of the US and Canada. They're
Okay.
like, okay, but
Yeah.
you guys get to sell the US and Canada and we'll sell it to the Chinese.
I think that's a smart deal, actually.
That's a good play.
That is a good play because they're just like, all right, America's going to hate this. The rest of the world, they're going to love this.
Yeah, for real.
And they get the residuals, I guess you said, on the like distribution. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Smart play.
Yeah.
So they have funding. Let's go. I got some notes about the writing. We don't have to read through all of it because it kind of is happening at the same time these guys are trying to secure funding and all that.
Okay. Oh, is it kind of like Jurassic Park where they like knew the movie they were making, but they were just like making the movie while writing the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, they write it before they get into like the production of it.
So it was pretty much done before they started everything. Okay.
Yeah, like before they had this final budget movie, they had already had the third draft, and the third draft is like the final draft with some little like changes as they go on.
Nice.
You know, directors, you finally like cast all your actors, and you're like, damn, Denise Richards is hot. Let me put an extra nude scene in here. And Denise Richards is like, no, I'm not doing that.
Side note, I don't know if Denise Richards can exist without smiling, even when she's sad.
Yeah, maybe.
Think of the one
I'm trying
frame.
to picture her not smile. Well, she probably smiles less on Real Housewives, I bet.
Oh, yeah. I just
Without
mean in
Jasmine
this
Shell.
movie, there is maybe one frame where she's not smiling this entire movie, even when she's crying. She's like,
Let me say it one more time. Love it. If you're only listening to this, you're missing out a little bit. You got to see Dan's
gotta watch it on YouTube.
terrible face on
At
YouTube.
Uninformed Movie Reviews. All right, let's go.
So our writer, I just want to hit some things that I thought were really interesting about the adaptation. Newmer began adapting the Starship Troopers novel at the beginning of 1993, working out of his office in Los Angeles, which means the Angeles. He was initially he was initially concerned about how to translate the tone of Hyland's work, because fascist, recalling his awareness as a youth of the controversy surrounding the novel that identified Hyland as alternatively a conservative, militarist, libertarian fascist. Newmer was...
You need a second there?
I'm like, I housed a chili dog right before we started. As you might be able to tell from our Sonic Cups, not a sponsor. Hit us up. Toss some like chili cheese tots or something our way. But I just have like GERD, you know what I mean? So now I just have these like gross hiccups. I'm trying not to get directly into the microphone. If I catch a good one though, I'll lift the volume on it a little bit.
If only there was smell-o-vision, you could have the chili dog breath too.
Yeah, dude. Newmer was interested to write about fascism, but was concerned it would be difficult to do so successfully. I mean, tough feat
I mean, yeah.
to like nail fascism and keeping it light and fun.
You know, just like light fascism. Like, make it work and make the whole world work in harmony, but, you know,
But like
fascism.
cheeky and fascist. Lovely. Even so, he and Davison wanted to faithfully adapt the novel and Hyland's viewpoint, and Newmer believed audiences would appreciate the concept of a failing democracy and stricter cultural controls. You know, as dumb American audiences do.
Everyone wants that, duh.
Yeah. He said, "You want a world that works? Okay, we'll show you one. And it really does work. It just happens to be a military dictatorship. But it works." That was the original rhythm I was trying to play with, just to sort of mess with the audiences, which is a really nice idea. If it had just like hit the first time, you know what I mean?
That was a different level of appreciation for this movie. Was me going like, wow, I mean, he's just going hardcore here. Like, whoever wrote this is like going real hardcore on the whole.
Yeah, like the fascists in this movie love being fascist. There's no second thought about it.
And even like the whole supreme dictatorship of like the Federation, you know what I mean? Like, there's like one person who's like dictating exactly what to do with their whole regime every time they come in.
Yeah.
Weird.
So he struggles with adapting certain aspects, finding the first and third acts of the novel to be narratively strong, but the middle act focusing on Rico's boot camp experience to be a lengthy piece preaching to his readership, which would not make for an interesting film. That's where he really hit the fascism, the original author, Heinlein. Yeah. Apparently that's where he's really just like trying to inundate you with like fascist ideas.
Whoa.
So they made that part more fun, you know? You get to see somebody get their arm broken and then stabbed in the hand and then shot in the head.
Dude.
It's a good time.
this whole can we just talk about
Let's talk about the boot camp stuff a
the
little
boot
bit.
camp stuff is probably one of my like most memorable moments in a movie ever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I always remember that part. Put your hand on that wall, Private. Jake Busey's massive teeth just like, oh, I guess we could be friends.
When I think of boot camp, the biggest thing that sticks out in my head is them going, medic! Just all the different times they have to call for the medic.
I love that. Oh, it's just my helmet.
Yeah.
I just love it, man. And yes, that arm breaking scene is always good too.
Arm breaking scene is dope. The like slop that they're eating in the cafeteria, that like pink slop, that stuff's very satisfying.
Clancy Brown is a great drill instructor. Also, we get a little bit of bang, bang, bang. Hank Schrader.
Oh yeah. Rico!
I guess he was like a lieutenant or something. Maybe like a colonel.
Yeah, I don't know how military ranks work.
I don't either. He was more than Clancy Brown.
He was more of a daddy than Clancy Brown was daddy.
There
like Clancy Brown was their daddy, but Clancy Brown's daddy was Hank Schrader.
Do you think that 10 whips is a fair punishment for murder?
It wasn't murder. It was more
murder?
like negligent homicide.
Negligent homicide.
But I digress. So let's see where we are in the notes. It just gets so exciting talking about this movie because the boot camp, so much
to talk about.
The whole boot camp set of sequences is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Before people start getting ripped to shreds left and right.
And I love how I do love how they show actual growth in the characters and the amount that they're in boot camp.
Oh yeah,
which is cool because I mean, usually this would be something that would be chopped up to like a montage sequence in like a movie like this or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Rico's the best in the entire thing. He obviously becomes squad leader. Like, no, like he becomes a squad leader. He leads to negligent death. He has to learn how to deal with that consequence. He almost leaves. But I mean, the bugs.
Then everybody he knows and loves gets blown to smithereens.
12 million people or something die when Buenos Aires is just wiped off of the face of the earth.
Oh yeah.
Which I was just like, okay, wait. I'm pretty sure that a comet hitting the size of Buenos Aires would just destroy the earth.
So the writer identified the elements he considered essential, which includes the high school opening, boot camp, battles, and the underlying philosophy and social politics, and compensated for the novel's second act by expanding on sequences such as the high school romance, basing it on his own experiences of chasing women with no interest in him.
Dang.
Yeah, so apparently Numer was not...
He
wasn't Rico suaveing it in high school, yeah.
But he was in Rico's shoes.
Yes, he was. The first draft was completed on July 8th, 1993. It remained generally faithful to Heinlein's novel, including a secondary alien race known as the Skinnies, the Bounce, which was a jet-assisted traversal method, and power armor, which, as you'll notice if you've seen this movie, do not exist in the film.
Yeah, did not see that anywhere.
Yeah.
Yo, mechs would be great.
Mechs would have been cool, but they had really good reasons not to put them in. A big one being financial reasons.
One being budget.
Yeah, one being budget, because they're already throwing a lot of money at this bad boy. Razchek's lecture on citizenship, the one that the teacher gives them like in the classroom, was actually directly taken from the novel. It's like word for word from the novel.
Oh, dude. Well, actually, I have one quote that I really loved from Razchek in there.
Razchek's great.
He's an amazing character, and he's really portrayed well. Is that guy? I'm trying to remember where that guy's from. Is he from Police Academy or something like that?
He might actually be. Let me look it up.
That's where he's from. But
what's that quote you're gonna hit while I look this up?
Well, that quote that I really love is where Rico goes up to Razchek and he says, like, I think I'm gonna join. And he's just like, take some time to figure out, but he's also just like, figuring things out for yourself is the only freedom that anyone really has. And I was like, you know what? That's a good line.
Well, that's pretty baller. So Michael Ironsides, you might recognize him from Total Recall, Top Gun.
That's it.
Scanners, baby.
That's right. He's the dude from Scanners.
Yeah, that's probably what you're thinking of.
Dude, he rocks that movie.
Oh, he's in HBO's Barry. I need to hop back on that Barry train because
Hot Bog.
You know me.
Gonna drop a hot bog.
For those of you new to the channel, I can't speak. You'll learn to love it as I have.
I also just want to point out something here. I don't know if this was part of the novel. Maybe you have something on this, but I guess humans are on the precipice of a new stage of evolution or something. Because, I mean, NPH can talk to animals and some people are psychic.
Some people are just psychic, Danny. You've never heard of Miss Cleo?
Oh, I guess it's just a reflection of real life.
Yeah, dude. That's just real life.
I also love on the commercial sequence, it's just like, if you think you're psychic, maybe you are. I guess, like, yeah, that's everyone's motivation in real life.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's almost like those art school infomercials we used to see early in the morning where you like draw the turtle and send it in, and they invite you to art school or not.
Exactly.
It's like that but for psychics. A copy was sent to Heinlein's wife, the author of the original novel, who was pleased despite the minor differences to the novel. However, as they went on through development, many aspects would be changed or totally removed, in part because of financial reasons, but also Verhoeven's influence. Verhoeven tried to read the novel, but, and this is quoted, stopped after 2 chapters because it was so boring. Wow. It is really quite a bad book. It's a very right-wing book. He had Neumer summarize the narrative for him and found it militaristic, fascistic, and overly supportive of armed conflict, which clashed with his childhood experience growing up in German-occupied Netherlands during World War II.
What do you know?
Which would leave a bad taste in your mouth for fascism, I'd imagine.
You would think.
Mm-hmm. Verhoeven determined that he could use the basic plot to satirize and undermine the book's themes by deconstructing the concepts of totalitarianism, fascism, and militarism.
We're having a time here.
Having a good time. I feel like I nailed totalitarianism.
Yeah, it was good.
I did okay. Saying all the way through, I wanted the audience to be asking, are these people crazy?
And they didn't.
They did not. Among his suggestions was to introduce the romantic subplot between Rico and Carmen and combine the male characters Dizzy with a Neumer created female called Ronnie, that's how you say that name, who was romantically interested in Rico. So then that's how they get the love triangle between Dizzy, Rico, and Carmen, and Rico, Carmen, and Xander.
Fucking
Can't
Xander.
forget about Xander.
That dude legitimately looks like a knockoff version of Will from Will and Grace.
Yeah, 100%.
Like dollar store version.
Just in a Nazi suit?
Yeah, in a Nazi suit and more of a douche.
Yeah, more of a douche, indeed. Other aspects were removed, such as the skinnies, because Verhoeven thought too many alien races would be confusing. Fair.
I think so, yeah. It would be overloading.
Yeah, and they ditched the queen bugs and advanced canines called neo-dogs. Were considered financially unviable. What? Yeah, apparently there's all kinds of stuff going on in this novel.
Neo-dogs.
How
can you make dogs better than they are now? They're just so perfect.
Yeah, look at her. She's a thing of beauty.
A little sausage dog over here.
Beautiful little sausage.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I think the introduction of other alien races probably would have been a little bit much for the plot.
Things start getting kind of muddy, you know?
Yeah, and especially where I feel like it would take away from the plot point that they were trying to make, where there's just like, actually, I think that there might be intelligence bugs. And I was like, frankly, madam, find it offensive.
I find the idea of an intelligent bug offensive. That little talking head show is delightful.
It's amazing. And I mean, yeah, if there was an intelligent race along with it, that would pull away from it, because it's just like, okay, we're focusing on this enemy as a conflict and they're just stupid bugs, you know what I mean? But if they're thinking, then you got some philosophy coming into play here.
See, when you're waging a forever war, you have to make your people assume that the other side is totally worthless. Dehumanize them, even if they are bugs or like just people who are browner than you.
Yeah.
That's how they do, baby.
That's what they do now.
Yeah. It worked for Bush.
What else you got there?
Yeah, I distracted myself by mentioning George Bush. I started getting really angry. And yeah, so another financially motivated change was the removal of the drop, which was, this sounds really cool, and it's a bummer it wasn't there, which was a method of dropping troops from orbit in capsules that shed consecutive layers during landing. Cool. Preliminary designs were made out of capsules, but were generally attached to parachutes, which did not match the intended aesthetic. And adding rockets was deemed impractical because it would have required numerous different visual effects and would have taken too much time and money to accomplish. So they settled for the dropships.
Yeah, I mean, the dropships have a great design too.
They're dope.
I mean, even actually the ships in general in this movie look really good. I was just going to say, the models, the space models, the little small models that they did actually look really good. The lighting looks awesome. The ships themselves look cool. Pretty memorable.
Yeah. Very iconic movie.
Yeah. I guess the pill idea would be fine. The capsule idea.
Visually, I bet it would be really cool, but it would have been hard to pull off.
Yeah, and I think they like try it in the later ones. They try some of these ideas because they had more CGI power and less money. But the problem was that they had less money.
That's what's good. That's what less money is going to do, you know?
Yep.
The bounce was also removed due to cost and because Marshall said they made the troops look like they were on pogo sticks and removed the threat of the arachnids if troops could easily jump away, which I feel like is a really good
100%.
point.
A lot of the appeal of this movie to me is how much hopelessness there is.
Yeah.
They're just throwing human meat at this problem to try and make it go away.
Dude, that very first mission that they go on after boot camp, which is like the first scene of the movie, but you get like the news version of it.
Yeah. Awesome intro to a movie.
Oh my God, it's so hopeless. They had no idea what they were in for. You know what I mean?
Every fight feels like that. That's what I love is like every fight, you're just like, oh my God, dude, you have to empty the clip to kill one of these things.
Also, they weren't aiming down their sights, which was a big mistake. All hip shots.
And if anything, like they've been... Okay, here's another thing. All right. Here's another thing. I love this movie, but like obviously it's got problems. So in boot camp, Jake Busey actually makes a good point. He's just like, hey, we're not going to be like fighting other people here. Like, why aren't we like, you know, practicing shooting bugs? And you're like, you know what? You're that's a valid point. Why? I didn't see them shoot at a dummy bug like once.
No.
I didn't see a description to any of them other than what was being done to the fourth wall from Neil Patrick Harris saying like, you got to shoot at the nerve stem.
Yeah.
Maybe they showed them that, but it wasn't shown on screen. So like, it looks like they wasted all their time working on human
on like fighting humans, right?
Yeah, which is like not the problem right now.
And it's all one government. What humans are you fighting?
Exactly.
You know?
So that's why they were underprepared.
Although that version of laser tag at boot camp
pretty sick.
It was Where do I get those at?
I love that it shocked them too as they went down.
Right?
That was pretty sweet.
Laser tag needs more stakes and then getting tasered if you get tagged.
Yeah. I mean,
a good stake.
It's a literal laser tag.
Yeah. Pew, pew, pew,
but
pew, pew.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like they were hip shot for most of the movie, but also like no one even tried to like be effective. Like obviously the shotguns are what's working.
Yeah.
When Rico goes into shotgun mode, it's like, look at that. Look, he only spent like 6 shells.
Wow, he blew the limbs right off of that.
Yeah, what do you know?
Yeah.
If you blow limbs off of them, they can't move.
Oh yeah. More grenades probably would have helped too.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, overall, just the general helplessness that you feel in this movie, just being like, why are they even trying? It's good to convey that, you know, it's good to convey that like the politicians are just throwing meat at the problem.
Yeah, there's even that part later where Neil Patrick Harris is like, yes, that's exactly how we thought that would go. And they're like, what, dude? And he's like, hey, I make decisions like this all the time. We're fighting for the, what is it? The survival of the race here, folks. Yeah.
Right. You could just stay at home. You don't have to, you know, colonize the arachnid quarantine zone.
Yep. That's what happens.
Uh-oh.
So the most controversial omission for the novel fans was the power armor, which Danny seemed pretty bummed about.
That would have been sweet, to be honest.
Davison said that despite the importance of the armor, it was financially impossible to create hundreds of suits for the cast and extras. He and Verhoeven initially agreed to use the power armor sparingly and integrate various different ideas, such as the bounce and weapons into them, but later determined it gave the troops too much of an advantage against the arachnids.
I don't know if it would give that much of an advantage, personally.
Yeah, I feel like
even the Gatling guns couldn't do crap against him, man.
Yeah, right. Well, a lot of it's panic, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like they may have the tools, but they're all just underprepared children too, like going out there.
Yeah. But I feel like it'd have been weird to see like a mech suit dude, like punching bugs, just like, Boah!
Dude, I don't know. Seeing like a big fist just like smash one, that'd be kind of cool.
Nah, my favorite parts are when the people get ripped up. That's my favorite part.
I mean,
heads lopped off and
the maiming and dismemberment is choice in this movie. I mean, chef's kiss. Like even when we have like one of the flying arachnids come by and you just see this one like shot of it like scythering some dude's face off. It was amazing, man.
Oh yeah.
And I love how there's always that one stab. Like no one in this movie learns to move away from the fucking bug when you shoot it.
Yeah. If the bug is wounded, back up.
Just back up because it always has that last
shoot and scoot. We've said it on the channel before. Shoot and scoot is the move.
Scoot. Serpentine.
Yeah. let's see what I want to hit next. The FedNet sequences. The main source of information in the future was invented for the film specifically.
So good.
And yeah,
Such a good choice.
yeah, I would like to know more.
Would you like to know more?
Of course. An intentional prediction of how Neumer believed television and computers would eventually be combined. Which I mean,
I got to comment on this.
How many of you are watching on your phones right now?
Exactly. And I love that scene. It was actually perfectly portrayed when it's just like, a man has just been sentenced to his execution. Watch tonight at 6 p.m.
Watch tonight at 6 p.m. All net, all channels. It's like, no, you don't have a choice. If you're watching at 6 p.m., you get to see this full fry.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
I'm just
going to say that's pretty metal.
Let's go.
I also love like the indoctrination of the kids into it too.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, do your part at home. Join the war effort. It's like, only good bug is a dead bug.
They're all stomping on the bugs and holding their guns. They're passing out bullets to the kids.
I love that. They're all tugging over the gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully at least the safety was on.
No, I don't think it was.
Verhoeven described the final script as being about a contemporary contemporary American politics, such as the lack of gun control and increasing capital punishment under Texas Governor George W. Bush. Which he believed could potentially lead to fascism. The characters of Starship Troopers were fascists who don't know that they're fascists. He said, if I tell the world that a right-wing fascist way of doing things doesn't work, no one will listen to me. So I'm going to make a perfect fascist world. Everyone is beautiful. Everything is shiny. Everything has big guns and fancy ships.
Yeah.
But it's only good for killing f***ing bugs. And that's a direct quote.
Nice.
The third and final draft was completed by early 1995. Filming this movie was super rough.
Okay, yeah, let's hear about that.
Yeah, they had 2 desert locations, really. A ton of people got heat stroke. They would get like crazy storms and have to like... One of the desert locations was so remote that they had to build roads to get out to this location.
That's crazy.
And a lot of the larger equipment had to be dropped via helicopter.
Whoa.
They had to like helicopter stuff in. So then they would get hit with these crazy storms. There was this, there was something in the ground that made the ground super slick when it rained. And the mud would get extra thick and muddy. So like they would get these crazy storms, try to carry as much stuff as they could. And then they would just lose like cars and miles of cable like under this mud. It would just be like gone forever out there.
Oh my gosh.
One of the sets was totally overcome with rattlesnakes. Luckily nobody got bit.
That's kind of
rad.
rad.
There were just a lot of rattlesnakes everywhere, which is fun. Snakes are cool.
Yep.
But yeah, heat stroke all over the place. It would be super hot during the day and then like frigid at night because that's the desert, baby.
Yes, it is.
That's how the desert y'all.
Our reality.
Yes, sir. One of the places is called Hell's Half Acre, which is just super metal.
Like in Death Valley or something, or what?
Hell's Half Acre is in Casper, Wyoming.
Oh, wow.
Just outside Casper, Wyoming.
Interesting.
The other place is Barry Barber Ranch near Kodaka, South Dakota, and the Badlands National Park
in Montana.
So
those were some of the filming locations?
Yeah.
I thought that you said, or that it was all in this part of California, like a desert in California. Or I guess part was
that was the
like the
test
planets?
footage.
Oh, the test footage.
That was that little 40-second short that they did.
That makes sense with like the Badlands and stuff why they used it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Really cool looking desert out there, you know?
Yep.
When asked about the filmmaking, one of the crewmen said, I felt the plug could always be pulled on us at any time. In contrast, the director believed that the repeated regime changes going on at TriStar meant that the project was being overlooked and it was too late to cancel it. He's like, listen, everybody's getting fired. Nobody cares what we're doing out here. Let's do whatever we want.
Just do whatever you want. I mean, as long as they give you the company credit card, why not?
Yeah, right? Yeah, the company credit card already. In casting Starship Troopers, Verhoeven wanted the cast to visually embody the Caucasian, blonde, blue-eyed, and beautiful image he had perceived in Nazi propaganda films.
My God.
By Leni Riefenstahl, a la Triumph of the Will and Olympia. He described it as an idiotic story. Young people go to fight bugs, so I felt the human characters should have a comic book look. The search initially focused on popular, well-known film actors aged between their late teens and early 20s, but he realized that many of the contemporary stars were already in their 30s or already committed to other projects. And although television actors were still generally ignored when casting films, the production started to look at shows like Melrose Place, Beverly Hills 90210, which featured young, photogenic, but less well-known actors such as Van Dien, Richards, and Meyer. Verhoeven later said Starship Troopers could have benefited from casting actors for their ability instead of looks.
I'm going to be honest. I think everyone acts just the right amount in this movie.
Appropriately for the film.
And if anything, it behooves the movie. It makes it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if someone was hamming it up, it might not be that good. But I feel like the actress that played Diz does an amazing job.
Great.
I think the worst person in this movie is Denise Richards, character-wise and portrayal.
Yeah,
You know?
that's fair.
It's kind of interesting.
I don't know if anybody does a worse job.
I mean, even Jake...
Not to say she did a terrible job.
No,
she just did worse than everybody else.
Yeah, she's just, I mean, like, she just doesn't pop off screen. She's just, like, nameless. Jake Busey does a great job. I mean, Clancy Brown does a great job. Hank Schroeder, don't know his real name, but killed it. Rico even kills it.
Rico does great.
Yeah.
Rico's super awesome.
Iconic, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super great. There were a last couple of things I just wanted to touch on. Van Dien actually went through 5 different auditions for the Rico role.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon also auditioned.
Dang.
But Verhoeven believed Van Dien closely fit the aesthetic of the like Nazi propaganda films thing he was going
100%.
for, which I mean nailed it. Yeah.
But imagine what we could have had with Mark Wahlberg in Starship Troopers.
That would have been crazy. He's really good at running.
I mean, that would have been pretty sweet, actually.
I mean, were we going to get peak Mark Wahlberg, or were we going to get like the happening Mark Wahlberg?
Well, would it have been right around Fear, dude? This would have been like just post
yeah,
Fear.
that actually been pretty great.
Yeah, he would have been awesome at that.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, Rico is the perfect choice.
I mean, good for Van Dien. He didn't do much else.
Yeah, that's all I know him as.
Yeah, legit though. About 6 of the main actors, including Van Dien, Meyer, Busey, Gilliam, and Cornell, as well as 24 extras, undertook a 12-day boot camp training session under
crazy.
Actual drill instructor.
A drill instructor.
Well, see, this is why I screwed this up. I knew I was going to screw this up because the drill instructor's name is Dale Dye.
Dale Dye.
Dale Dye from April 17th, 1996 to the first day of filming. They just threw these guys out in Hell's Half Acre, did an actual like boot camp, taught them basic combat skills, tactics, and they did a daily 3-mile run and a ton of other physical training in very thin air in an area that was 6,000 feet above sea level.
Wow.
They learned how to march, how to perform maneuvers, and handle weapons. They slept in open air military tents.
Oh my God.
And it was this ended up being a bonding experience. Although Denise Richards wasn't required to go to the boot camp because she was just going to be flying. She didn't have to be like fighting. She wanted to go to like bond with the other actors.
Yeah.
And they did. They got hit in a blizzard. They got buried in 2 feet of snow.
With Denise Richards there?
Van Dien, Busey, and Richards had to huddle together in an open air tent to not die during this blizzard.
How crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I will say that's a good fact because you can see the chemistry of these people.
They look like friends that have known each other for a really long time.
Perfect. They all act like they know each other, and it shows itself on screen. It's like there's a camaraderie.
It's because they had to actually survive something together.
Yeah. Not to mention they all looked at each other naked in the showers. I forgot about that shower scene until I watched it.
Yeah, I had read something like that shower scene's supposed to be like they're so fascistic that they don't even have a libido in that situation. That's why the conversation directly goes to like combat and their goals as citizens.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, why are you here? You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like there's any sexualization at all.
Like we all got our wieners and our hoo-ha's out. It's fine. Nobody cares.
I mean, which is cool, but it sucks that it takes fascism to get there.
Danny watched that movie as a young man. He's like, what? Where do I sign up for these co-ed showers?
Is it all it takes? Just giving my freedom and liberties away?
All you have to do is sign all your rights away.
Darn.
Yeah.
Sometimes life be like that, I guess.
Sometimes life do be like that. Yeah, there's just a lot of production things that I thought were super interesting. I didn't know like this movie came from a novel until
I didn't either.
Set out to do this podcast.
I didn't know that the novel was so old. I also didn't know that it was written by a Nazi. I also didn't know that it was basically written for Nazis.
I mean, there were movie reviewers that were saying the writer and director for Starship Troopers were neo-Nazis. Like, he was saying, don't go watch this film.
I mean,
these guys are neo-Nazis.
I could see that happening today.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be a boycott if it's, if anyone found out the source material.
Source.
I mean, let's talk about our favorite scenes in this movie. What is probably your favorite scene in all of Starship Troopers, if you had to choose?
If I had to just choose one to watch over and over again, it would be a tie between the final round at boot camp where that dude gets his head blown off.
Yeah, that is a good scene.
Or their very first contact with the actual aliens where like everything just goes to immediately. That one Asian guy gets like thrown in the air to the other bugs and they just start ripping them apart.
That, yeah.
Everybody's in full panic. Yeah. Like Ace is squad leader at the time because Johnny Rico got that dude's head blown off.
Yeah.
And they're like, Ace, what do we do? And he's like, I don't know.
I they really had us training for humans.
Yeah. This guy doesn't have a head. Where do I shoot this bug? It was really funny. I love just the sheer panic and hopelessness like in that scene.
I would probably double that. I think that the combat scenes in this movie are just so good. And if it's not that night sequence where they do the first drop, then it would be on Planet P or whatever.
Oh, the ambush?
Yeah,
that's really good too.
That one's really good. It would have to be the one where there's the giant tank beetle and Rico jumps on it and like punches through shoots through the chitin and he like drops a grenade in it. It's sick because right before that, like that one squad leader like gets her arm just melted off by the firebug. It's sick, man.
Yeah, that's super dope, man. In production too, like they actually like built that shell, you know what I mean? That's one of the miniatures. He was up there and he kept slamming down onto it and he bruised a bunch of his ribs. Didn't say anything because he didn't want to interrupt filming and chipped a bunch of his teeth.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, you can see the realism in it. Like the goop is like blah, blah, blah. Oh my God.
The goop is goopy.
The goop in this movie gets like 10 out of 10, almost thing level goopiness in this movie.
Fair.
Like when they're first dissecting the bug in class, I'm like, Jesus, I'm about to throw up. This is
when
disgusting.
He pulls out the like lungs and hearts and puts it in Denise Richards' hands.
Yeah. And then even like something with like the brain bug, you see the giant vagina face just like once Denise Richards cuts off his little proboscis or whatever, like you just see like there's all this mucus just falling out of it. And the eyes are moving all over. It's beautiful. It's some of the most beautiful puppet work like I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Making something look so real, and visceral, but my God, is it moist?
The way it sucks the brain too. The brain looks kind of delicious.
Yeah, dude, that was sick. I also love how they do like 3 different like little models of Xander just like increasingly losing his head.
It reminded me of the Menudo face scene in Poltergeist.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It looks so unreal, but it's also, you're so in the moment that it's like perfect.
It feels real.
Yeah. It feels
you know
real.
what? If anything, if this was the same team, this makes sense why it was so good from Scanners.
Yeah.
Because Scanners has those moments too where it's just like, obviously this is a little cartoony, but I'm so stuck in the moment. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, bug design's great. Acting wise, this movie carries even outside of the combat. You're just like glued to the screen. I feel like there's no point where I didn't feel any point where I felt like a lull in the movie at all. Like,
I mean, even the one human fight. Well, I guess there's a couple human fight scenes, but the fight between Rico and Xander.
Yeah.
Most of it is the two actors like
going
they
at
went
it
through a bunch of like stunt training to be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that when Xander like flips him over. He's like, "I'll kill you."
He's just pounding his diaphragm, trying to get all the air out of him. Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's really good. I even like the crazy like futuristic arena football that they had going on. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, future arena football. Yeah,
and it was like played on not even turf. It was like played on those gym mats that you sit on, crisscross applesauce. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, you're just doing flippies over everybody else. What does it even matter? You know?
Yeah, I love how in the game, like Dez is like, I don't know what, 3-6-0, and then you see him play.
Do a flip 6-9, and then we'll score or something like that.
And then they do it in the laser tag, and I was like, what is it? What is flip?
Wait, so what is the play? Is the play just like, hey, I'm gonna do a front flip over them and confuse them?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe that's the play.
I guess 6. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, who stood out to you the most in this movie? Who was probably your favorite character? Oh, did you notice? I'm sorry to interrupt. That dude from The Walking
I know
Dead.
I just asked you a question, but other question.
Actually, shut up. That dude from The Walking Dead is in here.
Which dude from The Walking Dead?
That plays the priest. That's a coward. In the show.
He's like the secondhand man to Razchek's.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, there's so many people in there.
That guy really likes killing bugs.
Yeah, he does. Not much to look at when you scrape them off your boot.
Father Gabriel. That's his character's name in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, a lot of stars that I hadn't noticed before popping through. Noticeably, the Crimson Teeth as well. Jake Busey. God, those teeth are massive, dude.
He's got the Busey teeth for sure.
Just Beaverton, like.
Yeah, buddy. Favorite character? I mean, it's got to be Rico, right? Rico's great. I actually really like Ace. Jake Busey's character.
Yeah, Ace
like
is
he's
pretty
a
good.
big old idiot, but like he's the comic relief in most instances. Even some of them is just a look like, oh. You believe this guy?
Oh God, I love that scene where Denise Richards breaks up with Rico during the through mail, and I also love that the mail that they sent were little GameCube discs.
Yes,
and I love that. Like he's just like, oh my God, I'm so stoked, and this just reiterates how shitty of a person Denise Richards is in here. I mean, Carmen. I'm sorry. I'm sure Denise Richards is lovely, but
you're just besmirching the name of Denise Richards.
I mean, Carmen. This is why Carmen's such a terrible person. Like he's been writing her for months, and while she's been like flirting with her instructor Xander, she just finally decides the one time she's going to write back to him is just to break up with him. And I love how everyone's all stoked, like, oh look, Rico actually does have a girlfriend. Oh man, she's hot, and he's like. And then just everyone's face just collectively like, oh.
You guys want to go play cards or something?
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I love how she's just like, yeah, the universe, it's crazy, right? Hey, we should see other people.
Universe is rather big.
Wow, look at it. It's pretty nuts, right? I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore.
So subtle. Yeah. I love it. I also love that one scene when they're doing the FedNet. I mean, there's so many good FedNet scenes, but like my favorite is when they show like the cow coming into the room with the bug, and then they like put a big old sensor over it, but you still see all the limbs being mutilated and stuff. It's just
my favorite FedNet is besides the talking heads, because that guy's just so pedantic and he's such a little weasel. It makes me think of Ben Shapiro, actually.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So I really like that. But the one at the very end where they shove the probes in the bug brain, the brain bug, that's pretty gross, pretty gnarly.
And it's just like, we got to take care of this specimen.
Yeah, by shoving a bunch of things in its orifices. That's how you find things out about living things. You shove things in their orifices.
Especially one so inviting as the front of the brain bug.
Yes, yeah. Let's be honest. The front of the brain bug's asking for it. What's your favorite character?
Well, I just want to say, I don't think that's how nuclear bombs work. First off.
No, they're not nuclear bombs. They're nukes.
Oh, they're just nukes. I should have known.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that a pyroclastic cloud still will eviscerate everything.
Man, that scene where they're running out of the tunnels with the explosion behind them, there's a lot of it's CGI, but they actually didn't explode. There's an actual fireball chasing them.
That's crazy.
Like they had a bunch of meetings about it, and they're like, okay, if like somebody falls, you got to pick them up because there's fire right behind you.
Damn.
Like, and they had one take to do it in, so they were all really nervous.
They would have had one of those like Wizard of Oz incidents where the chick caught fire.
Right?
That's insane. I didn't know that.
And run, fireball.
And see, that makes me respect this movie more. I didn't know the actors were so like wanting to just go hard on this movie.
No, they went for it. Like everybody who made it through this movie like survived things to get there.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is cemented in history for me. Like this movie is still great. I mean, 10 out of 10. I don't know how this movie could get better, to be honest.
I think that's the only rating I can give it. For sure, there's a bias there, but hard 10.
Explain to me how you can make this movie better. I don't see how you could.
Without changing like the tone of it, like there's no way.
I mean, leave your comments in the section below. Just tell us what you loved about Starship Troopers. Tell us what would make it better in your opinion, and tell us how bad the sequels are, because I haven't seen the sequels.
I was just gonna ask, have you seen any of these sequels? Because I haven't, because I respect the first one too much.
I think maybe the second.
I've always thought, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna taint the flavor in my mouth.
Why sully my experience by doing that?
Yeah.
I kind of want to though. I kind of want to do like my own little rank of the stank and like see how there's like a new one coming out,
There's
I think.
4, and I think they're working on a 5th. I think there's a series too.
And I think it's an animated one or something like that, but which sounds cool. But
The same writer does at least the first 3.
really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, this movie leaves off with plenty of opportunity to like expand the universe, and obviously they never get to Clendathu. They never show you Clendathu, which is interesting in the first movie. Right? I don't think they ever land on
No.
Clendathu. It's awesome. I mean, it's just so cool. This movie's just so well thought out, even though it doesn't seem like it is. Like, it's on the surface level, you're like, it's a big dumb space movie, but it's actually
so much
has a lot more to say.
Yeah.
Like than you think it does.
And I don't remember what age I was at when I picked up on the fascism, but I just remember being like, hold on, these guys are Nazis.
I was yesterday years old, like, for sure.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a watch. If you've not seen Starship Troopers and you did listen to this whole thing, like, sorry for ruining a lot for you, but it's still not going to ruin anything for you. This viewing experience is a character on its own. Like,
and don't think I missed out on it in the 90s. There's no way I could enjoy this. My lovely girlfriend Grace joined me for my rewatch for her first watch. Did enjoy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you give it? 2 thumbs up?
Yeah, I would give it 2 thumbs up.
Dude,
It's pretty good.
it's so fun.
What a wild ride.
So fun. I think I'm going to dress up as a Starship Trooper sometime for Halloween.
Dude, that'd be great. Speaking of the Starship Trooper outfits, Danny, they are reused for a television series. One that I love and enjoy and respect.
God, is it Firefly?
And you hate. It is Firefly, Danny.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, they pull those little trooper outfits out, dust them off out of storage, and
That's
they
crazy.
slap them on some of the characters in Firefly.
Is it the same production company, or is it anyone that worked on it? Why would they?
I don't even know. I remember learning that fact a long time ago and forgetting about it.
That's
I
a fun
forgot the
fact.
details. It is a fun fact.
Huh. What do you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for Starship Troopers. 25 years of kicking bug ass. Shoot 'em dead. Shoot 'em dead. Because the only good bug.
Is a dead bug.
That's right. And before we keep
Spiders are
going on-
cool,
No,
but they're not bugs.
they're arachnids.
Mhm.
Which is confusing now that I think about it for this movie.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't even know if they had necessarily 8 legs.
No, we'll have to count later.
We'll count later. You let us know in the comment section. Anyways, before we go on to our next segment, I'd like to thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing. Welcome to the channel. We love everyone new and everyone old that's been here. Thanks for sticking with us. Follow us on Instagram at Uninformed Movie Reviews, where we post dank content.
I mean, thanks for sticking around this far in the episode if you're here with us.
Yeah. Let us know how we're doing. Send us hate mail at uninformedmoviereviews@gmail.com.
Hate mail, dank memes, links to boner pills, whatever you want.
That's really good. Let's keep it going. Oh, also follow us on Spotify. Let's keep it going with...
Oh, that's interesting. Today we have a story that was sent to us by our ghost co-host, David Pena.
The ghostest hostess with the mostest.
Yes, that's the one. Quentin Tarantino responds to Kanye West claiming he stole his idea for Django Unchained. Very interesting. I didn't even know this was a beef that existed. And thank you for sharing this with us, David.
What do you know? Kanye West takes credit for another thing that he had no say in.
Huh. Quentin Tarantino appeared Thursday on Jimmy Kimmel Live and responded to Kanye West's claims that Tarantino and Jamie Foxx stole his idea for the 2012 award-winning film, Django Unchained. In an interview with Pierre Morgan this week, Yee said he pitched a similar idea to the storyline of Django Unchained to Tarantino while brainstorming the music video for the hip-hop star's 2005 song Gold Digger featuring Jamie Foxx. While the actual Gold Digger...
I actually like that song too.
It's fine. While the actual Gold Digger music video that was ultimately released shares no similarities to Django, West still claimed the film's plot was his idea.
Oh my God.
Tarantino told Kimmel, "There's not truth to the idea that Kanye West came up with the idea of Django." And then he told it to me and I go, "Hey, wow, that's a really great idea. Let me take Kanye's idea and make Django Unchained out of it." Okay, that didn't happen. I imagine Quentin Tarantino was wearing a ridiculous outfit.
Maybe like a FUBU.
Maybe like a FUBU. I'd had the idea for a while before I ever met Kanye, explained Tarantino, who added that West had wanted to do a giant movie version of his album, The College Dropout,
Oh my god.
and told Tarantino he wanted to get different directors to do different tracks from the album.
Oh my god.
He did have an idea for a video, and I do think it was for the Gold Digger video, and that he would be a slave, remember Tarantino. And the whole thing was the slave narrative where he's the slave and he's singing Gold Digger, and it was very funny. It was a really, really funny idea. However, being a slave in the video seemed to be the only similarity. It was meant to be ironic, said Tarantino. It's like a huge musical. I mean, like, no expenses spared. All right. With him in this, like, slave rag outfit doing everything, then that was also part of the pushback on it, but I wish he had done it. It sounded really cool. Anyways, that's what he's referring to.
Mother of God.
Mother of God.
That is so dumb.
That's so dumb.
That's probably one of the dumbest things I've heard.
I mean, Quentin Tarantino doesn't need to steal ideas
No.
to make a movie.
If there's anyone that you could tell me is stealing ideas and I would believe, it would not be Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino should steal the idea to stop saying the N-word so freely.
Yeah, he should. And, maybe not put so much feet.
Less feet in your films.
Less feet, less N-word. I don't know.
You can be a foot fetishist.
Yeah,
you don't
that's
have
fine.
to involve us in it.
Yeah, that's true. Because we like your movies, but I also don't like feet like that. Fair enough. You know what, Frank? That was interesting because Kanye sucks.
So he's already burned. Kanye burns a lot of bridges, you know?
I mean, yeah, he's on an island all on his own right now with no bridges.
Yeah.
Losing billions of dollars.
I mean, hopefully he gets the help that he needs. Because,
when someone's that famous and rich, I just don't think people care to give him the help that he needs. Because
Right.
if he thinks he's fine, if he says he's
from
fine-
like a mental health professional.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree. But I mean, again, it's like the emperor's new clothes. You know what I mean? Like he says he's fine, and everyone's just like, yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Keep making money. He's fine.
Shout out to our upcoming Emperor's New Groove movie review coming in December.
Keep an eye out for that. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, David. That was a great story.
Yeah, that was a great story. That was quite interesting, if I do say so myself.
When we go, huh, and
And ha! Aha! Dang, two Will Smiths at the same time.
twin wills.
Well, I guess that's going to kick us on over to Character Limit
Extended. That's correct, Danny.
That's going to be a nice one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And for this Character Limit Extended, we are talking about Halloween Ends.
Yes, the end of Halloween, which is apt because it's November 1st right now.
Yeah, we just finished Halloween last night.
Yeah.
Frank, did you do anything fun for Halloween? Real quick?
I bought a bunch of candy to hand out to trick-or-treaters, and none of them showed up to the house.
They hate you just as much as I do.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Oh, man, what a bummer.
But I got a bunch of candy at the house right now, so that's cool.
What'd you get?
Got some Sweet Tarts ropes, so I'll be shooting those ropes directly into my mouth. Got some Snickers, some Reese's peanut butter cups, and some Kit Kats. Classic candy bowl.
Oh, dude, I love Kit Kats. All right, name two of your go-to treats. Halloween. You must have every Halloween.
I'll just take what I can get, man.
Now, like
I'm not
ones
greedy.
that you would be stoked to see in your bag.
Like as a kid trick-or-treating,
Yeah.
I need some dots. I would always
Ugh.
burn through the dots. Dude, I love them.
What
Make a
the
big old
hell?
mess in my teeth. Like,
Ugh.
yeah,
Wild.
love it.
Wild.
What else was I always super excited to get in there? I mean, some Reese's. Love some Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, I'm fine with Reese's, I think.
I love Reese's. I feel like Reese's are trying to seduce me. They're like, hey, you want some peanut butter?
I think if there were two things that I was stoked to see in my bag, it was usually either an Almond Joy, which I love Almond Joy. I know
Almond Joy's
people,
good.
people hate Almond Joys, though. I get it. It's coconut, whatever.
Well, at least it's not Mounds. Mounds is missing the
Ugh.
almond.
Yeah, but
It's like, hey, you forgot
The,
to put a fucking almond in this.
some people like the dark chocolate, but it's bad dark chocolate in Mounds. It is really bad, right? 100%. I mean, it's good, but it's bad dark chocolate as far as dark chocolate goes.
I mean, it's good, but it's bad, right?
Actually, Sam was telling me that she had tried Hershey's for the first time when she came to the U.S. just to because she'd heard so much about it, and she said she had had a Hershey's Kiss and was just like, "This is the worst chocolate I've ever had in my life." Fair enough. I mean, it's very sweet here.
It is very sweet. We like sugar and salt.
I'm
and
also
fat.
not much of a chocolate guy, but I would say for Halloween, just for a fun fact for you guys, I'm more of a sour and tangy guy. So my favorite was to get Airheads.
Oh, yeah. I like sour and tang.
Or Skittles.
or some old school sweet tarts. The blue ones taste like laundry detergent. They're fantastic.
That was weird. Yeah. Why did I like them?
I love
Or
them.
Shock Tarts.
Shock tarts.
Dang.
Some bottle caps, perhaps.
Oh my gosh, this is so nostalgic. Before we go off on why we love candy,
Let's talk about something a little bit less sweet.
Halloween Ends.
I had the book report. You had the haiku. Why don't you hit us first?
You had the most apt book report I think you've ever had for this
Also,
movie.
I'm pretty sure we've used the word apt about 4 times in this podcast. It's
I've
just
used it-
something that stuck out.
You keep saying that word.
Yeah.
I do not think you know what it means. I don't think it means what you think it means. I am an Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, preferred to die. Where was I? All right, this movie sucks. David Gordon Greens? David Green Gordon? Anyway, this is his third one.
Let's go with Greers because it sounds like rears, and sometimes his movies are ass.
His last one was. I thought that it could not get worse from Halloween Kills.
I enjoyed it.
And you know what? Now that I watched Halloween Kills again, I actually enjoyed Halloween Kills way more than Halloween Ends. It was at least fun and stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so dumb that it was at least enjoyable. You can at least look at it and like point and laugh. But in Halloween Ends, it's like such a slog. It's just you got to drag yourself through it. There's hardly any Michael Myers in it. I mean, there's some good kills. I'm gonna give it credit there. There's some cool creative kills, especially with the DJ. That was really fun.
Oh yeah.
And you know, my favorite kill is Jeremy. Is it Jeremy? I don't know, the Splat Kid.
You talking about that song?
He's spoken. Yeah. Very predictable.
Oh, super predictable.
I mean, something dies at the end, you know.
Yeah.
I guess I won't spoil it, but everyone knows what the end is going to be in this movie. If you envisioned what would happen, that's pretty much what happened. And except for the whole Troll Told Boy Soul stuff.
I don't think any of us could have seen that coming. Yeah.
That was weird,
That was
bro.
a weird twist.
Yeah, and I guess they were like hearkening back to like...
But you know what? I had told you guys at the end of the second one, I was like, listen, he did the serious Halloween for the first one. The second one, we got a schlocky fun mess, which I enjoyed way more than you guys
I do like
did.
the schlock now.
That's fantastic. I was like, maybe the third one, he's going to go with that weird voodoo twist they did in Halloween 3. I said it. I said it when we left the theater. And I think it was right. Or whenever we were done.
I'm pretty sure that David actually showed a clip of me when we talked about Halloween Kills, like saying, oh, what if we get someone else to do Michael Myers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said they're going to do like a weird voodoo twist. And then they did.
Yeah. What do you know? Just as predictable as someone who was just
Damn.
posting on their mouth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. I still think I enjoyed this one a little bit more than you and David did.
100% you did.
It is not a good movie, but I had some fun. Will I rewatch it? I'll probably watch Halloween Kills sooner than I will. Or even like the new Halloween, like Halloween, not OG, but Halloween, the first one in this series of 3.
That's confusing.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills is at least like a living meme. It's really good.
Halloween Kills is so funny. If not just to watch that lady shoot herself in the face with a 50 cal Desert Eagle.
Love it.
Woo!
Yeah, man. I mean, what else can I say? I wouldn't go see it. I'm really glad I streamed it. Just wait to stream it at home, and then I guess if you've got to like finish the trilogy just for, you know, your own sake, then fine.
It's streaming at home right now. Go watch it on Peacock.
Go watch it on Peacock, you dummy.
Go watch it. And then be like, wow.
They were right. This is...
I didn't think they were going to kill that kid at the beginning, so they got me there.
That.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, I guess I really like the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. Splat.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to wrap it up for Halloween Ends. Like, I don't want to say any more about that.
Glad it's over.
Yeah, very glad it's over. Give it to someone else if you do it again.
If you're really itching, just go watch our character limit exceeded.
That's right. Probably right there.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's going to kick us on over to Peeps and Predicts. Those of you that are new, Peeps and Predicts is our very real, very hypothetical segment where we put 2 hypothetical or real people, mostly real, in a predicament or a predicts, and we see who's triumphant.
That is right, Durs.
Yes, Grumble Grumble. Who has carried on as our champ? Is it still Daemon Targaryen?
Daemon Targaryen.
Yeah,
I think this is only like his second week, but
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah. It just seems like more because we only do the podcast every other week. You
Makes
know what
sense.
I mean? Yeah.
I also have bad memory, so there's that.
Fair. Let us see.
So you got the peeps.
I have the predicts.
Oh. Okay, yeah. I got the peeps.
You got the peeps.
Oh, man, I can't even open this.
Love it.
Captain Malcolm Reynolds versus
Yes.
Spike Spiegel. Who's Malcolm Reynolds?
He's the captain in Firefly.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, I was like, okay. Versus Spike Spiegel of Cowboy Bebop.
You're like, why does that sound familiar and why am I upset?
Why am I mad having heard
that? Who would make a better batch of enchiladas? God dang
I don't
enchiladas.
think Spike... Well, can Spike cook? I think he can cook in the anime.
We each know more about one of these characters.
Well, does Malcolm Reynolds cook? Have you seen any scenes of him cooking?
I think there's like a joke where he has to cook something and it's not very good. Somebody does all that. No, what's his face? The redheaded cheeky fellow does all the
Alan
cooking.
Tiddick.
Yeah, Alan Tiddick does all the cooking on the ship.
That's right, he does.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that there is a scene where Spike cooks, at least in one of the episodes of Cowboy Bebop, and it might be like ramen. So I bet he could follow a simple enchilada recipe. But if you feel as though Captain Reynolds has any more claim to that, then I don't really know.
No, I honestly feel like Malcolm Reynolds would like be a terrible cook.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have much patience.
No, not a lot of patience. Very quick to go off of the plan.
I think enchiladas require patience too.
A little bit. I mean, you gotta like, especially if you're making the chile from scratch, you gotta make sure you like boil everything right, clean everything out right, so
For
you don't get
sure.
any bunch of seeds in there. You gotta blend everything up. Make sure you don't touch your penis in the process, because then you'll get a spicy ween.
Spicy ween.
Yeah,
Not from experience.
not from
obviously,
experience or
obviously.
anything. Yeah.
Also, if there's anyone with patience, definitely Spike Spiegel. I mean, the dude is like lackadaisical about everything.
Oh yeah.
So
He'd be sitting there all chilling, smoking a cigarette, very dramatically.
probably dropping ashes in the enchiladas.
Uh-huh.
An ash-chalada.
Spike Spiegel takes
Spike
round
Spiegel
one.
takes it, I think.
Our second predict. Yes.
The ASMR of opening. Oh, wow, that was a nice little sticky sound
If the
too.
people don't hear the sticky, how do they know we're being for real?
Oh,
Lovely.
wow.
That was so
That
satisfying.
really was.
Woo.
It's kind of like when it's summer and I have to like open my legs.
Who would be more useful on a camping trip with the lads? This is from our ritual episode.
From the ritual. I mean, both can fight.
Yes.
Both are kind of lone wolves.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Malcolm Reynolds is not a lone wolf. He looks after the team.
He's
as
more
a
of a
matter fact.
leader,
He's the
huh?
captain. Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes sure that everybody makes it home safe.
Yeah. See, Spike is. He's more of like a backseat kind of guy. He will like step in to like lead if it needs to be, but he'd just rather someone else has the reins, like Jet or something. You know what I mean? So I feel like if anyone was going to be more useful, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Malcolm Reynolds takes this
yeah,
one.
he can do a lot. Yeah.
And he's got military training, you know?
To be fair, so does Spike. But he was more mafia or what, like Yakuza.
Yeah,
or
he was like
something
a
that.
Yakuza hitman.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I would still go with Malcolm Reynolds because he seems to have way more talents.
Plus, his like pants are already brown, so you wouldn't be able to tell how dirty they are, which is nice. He's already got his and pants on. Who is more likely to be a cat person?
Spike Spiegel.
Yeah, I don't think Malcolm Reynolds has the patience for a cat. actually.
Yeah, again.
Yeah. That was actually a really easy one.
Yeah, 100%.
So Spike Spiegel is going to go on to face Daemon Targaryen.
Old Daemon Targaryen.
Super weird mashup. Danny, would you like to get our final predicament out of that
Yeah.
jar?
Let's see what's going on here. All right. Who's more likely to be the brain bug's first victim? And in parentheses, cause of big brain.
Because of big brain.
And Grace is saying Daemon Targaryen is much smarter than Spike Spiegel, and I'm gonna have to agree.
He's definitely got the cunning.
Yeah,
Which Spike Spiegel's a little bit cunning.
he's got cunning. He does give off that really like the aura of not caring.
Yeah, but isn't his cunning like really just for like vengeance too? Isn't it like kind of single-mindedly he's just trying to get like his vengeance in the grand scheme of things?
Daemon or Spike?
Spike.
Yeah, I mean it's really more about.
Whereas Damon's like he's trying to set up like an empire for himself.
He wants to be king.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he'll do anything. He is cutthroat. He'll do anything to make it happen. He's more like that guy for Vicious.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say Pharrell.
He's more like
He's
that
like
guy,
Pharrell.
He's kind of happy. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, I think that one's got to go to Daemon Targaryen. Plus, his head looks delicious with that silver hair.
I mean, he would be anyone's first choice in anything, I think. Mostly.
He might be around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, this is the third episode with him on top. And again, it's always just the super powerful characters. You know what I mean? Last time it was Predator. Now we're moving on to Daemon Targaryen.
I'm really saying this because whenever we build somebody up, they end up losing the next episode.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Let's jinx ourselves. I like keeping it going. Let's keep the wheel going.
And the wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
That's awesome. That's 100% correct. And thank you for taking the time to watch Uninformed Movie Reviews. Welcome to those who are new to the channel. Help us out on Spotify with a follow. We'll show up in your homepage every Sunday or every other Sunday when the podcasts come out. In YouTube, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and please click the bell so you can see as soon as a new video drops. You can check out our character limit exceeded, and it's not too late. You can go back and watch David's 31 spooky videos, and they were quite spooky.
Yeah, it's just because the spooky season's over doesn't mean it has to be over in our hearts.
Yeah.
Don't let the Christmas crew ruin it for the rest of us.
I was going to say, don't let Walmart tell you that it's already Christmas, because it's not. Just save it.
It's not.